Victor Wembanyama and Stephen Curry entered the NBA in completely different eras, with completely different expectations. But their first two seasons, and the opening stretch of their third, tell a story that's far more direct than people realize. In this video, we're comparing everything: scoring, defense, efficiency, teammates, durability, era context, cultural influence, and the impact each player had the moment they stepped into the league. And when you line up those categories one by one, the gap between Wembanyama and Curry isn't just noticeable, it's unavoidable. The question isn't if the difference is big, it's which direction that difference actually goes. Stephen Curry's scoring started with one undeniable truth. He entered the league already elite at the hardest skill in basketball. As a rookie in 2009-10, he averaged 17.5 points per game, finishing the year with 1,395 total points on absurd efficiency. 48% from the field, 43.7% from three, and 89% from the line. And he did that while playing 36.2 minutes a night, sharing possessions with Monte Ellis, who dominated the ball and led the team in shot attempts. Curry wasn't the primary scorer yet. He wasn't even fully unleashed until the second half of the season. But even inside that crowded backcourt, he flashed a scoring profile that looked nothing like a typical rookie. Clean shooting, elite range, and a rhythm that only got sharper as the year went on. Wembanyama's rookie scoring looked different, but the volume hit faster. In 2023-24, he put up 21.4 points per game across 71 games, ending the year with 1,522 total points, more than Curry managed as a rookie, and in fewer minutes. Wemby logged only 29.7 per night, almost 7 full minutes less than Curry, yet scored more. His efficiency wasn't built on shooting perfection the way Curry's was, but 46.5% from the field, 32.5% from three, and 79.6% at the line were strong numbers for a 7'4" rookie adjusting to NBA spacing, contact, and defensive pressure. Most of his damage came inside the arc, through mismatches, post touches, and pick and roll reads. And unlike Curry, Wemby walked into the league as his team's clear top scoring option from day one. Curry's second season followed the same theme: efficiency, control, and shot making. He averaged 18.6 points per game in 2010-11, for a total of 1,389 points. His percentages stayed elite: 48% from the field, 44.2% from deep, and 93.4% from the free throw line. But this was the year the ankle problems began. He dropped to 33.6 minutes a game and missed stretches of the season as the recurring injury started to define his early career. Even with that setback, his shooting numbers jumped to nearly unmatched levels for a young guard. Wembanyama's second season took the opposite trajectory. His scoring didn't plateau, it climbed. In 2024-25, before being shut down for medical reasons, he averaged 24.3 points over 46 games, totaling 1,527 points. His shooting rose to 47.6% overall, 35.2% from three, and 83.6% at the line. His minutes jumped to 33.2, and his usage remained sky high. The scoring curve wasn't flat, it was accelerating. More efficiency, more volume, more range, and more control of the offense. Put the two-year total side by side and the gap is clear. Curry finished with roughly 2,784 points. Wembanyama finished with around 3,049. On paper, that advantage belongs to Wemby, but context matters. Curry split possessions with Monte Ellis, who took 1,800 plus shots over those 2 seasons. Wembanyama was the centerpiece of a rebuild, with every offensive possession designed around him. But three-point shooting? That's not close. Curry was already the best young shooter in basketball. Wemby was still learning. Both started strong, but the way they scored and how much they were asked to score could not have been more different. Stephen Curry's early defense was exactly what you'd expect from a skinny rookie guard thrown into NBA speed overnight. In his first season, he averaged 1.9 steals per game. Good on paper, but most of those were gambles in the passing lanes, not shut-down possessions. His blocks were basically non-existent at 0.2 per game, and he wasn't physically built to contest anything at the rim. On ball, he struggled with bigger guards, stronger wings, and any kind of physical contact. His rookie reputation was simple: electric on offense, exploitable on defense. By year 2, the numbers dipped to 1.5 steals per game, and the flaws became clearer. He wasn't strong enough to fight through screens. He didn't have the length to disrupt shots, and he had 0 defensive accolades. Good instincts, but bad tools. And in the NBA, the tools matter more. Wembanyama's early defense was the exact opposite. He didn't just defend well, he took over games. As a rookie, he led the entire NBA in blocks per game with 3.6, finishing with a ridiculous 254 total blocks in 71 games. He added 1.2 steals per night, covered more ground than any big in the league, and instantly became the anchor of San Antonio's defense. The league recognized it immediately. He made all-defensive first team as a rookie, the first player in history to do so, and finished runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. That's not normal. That's historic. In only 46 games, he averaged 3.8 blocks per game and totaled 176 blocks before being shut down. His rim deterrence metrics were off the chart. Players shot drastically worse at the rim with him on the floor. He swallowed drives, erased pull-ups, and turned layups into bad floaters. Even when he didn't block a shot, he changed it. His defensive impact chart wasn't just impressive. It was redefining what a young big could do. Line their first 2 seasons side by side, and the difference isn't close. Curry struggled to survive. Wembanyama immediately became one of the most dominant defensive players in the league. Curry had no accolades. Wemby had league-leading block titles, historic production, and major awards by age 20. Curry's defense was built on instincts and steals. Wemby's was built on size, timing, and total rim control. Trembling isn't a debate. It's a landslide. Stephen Curry's first 2 seasons were played inside one of the most chaotic environments in the league. His rookie year began under Don Nelson, a legendary coach known for creativity, but not for stability. Nelson let the Warriors run, shoot, and improvise, but the system had no real structure. Monte Ellis dominated the ball, often freezing Curry out of possessions. Anthony Morrow spaced the floor, but wasn't a creator. Corey Maggette hunted free throws. Andres Bidringe struggled to stay healthy and couldn't anchor the defense. The team had scorers, but no orchestration, no direction, no identity. Curry wasn't the offensive focus. He was the new kid in a franchise trying to decide whether to rebuild or cling to the past. The result was a developmental environment that forced him to adapt rather than grow with intention. Xiao Miance entered something completely different, a rebuild that actually had a plan. Greg Popovich, one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, was on the bench in his rookie season. The Spurs were young, raw, inconsistent, but full of potential. Devin Vassell showed flashes of becoming a reliable scorer. Keldon Johnson brought energy and driving ability. Jeremy Sohan provided defensive versatility and playmaking. Zach Collins gave the front court depth. And later, Chris Paul arrived as the veteran stabilizer, a player who instantly raises a team's IQ, even if he's no longer a star. The roster wasn't polished, it wasn't playoff ready, but the system was built around Wemby, not around salvaging past mistakes. The goal wasn't winning now, it was development, structure, patience. So who had better help? It depends on how you define help. Curry had teammates who could score, but had no structure, no consistency, and no vision for the future. Wembanyama had teammates who were inexperienced, but surrounded by elite coaching, intentional development, and a franchise that committed to building around him from day one. Curry's environment minimized him. He had to work through chaos to find his place. Wemby's environment maximized him. Everything pointed toward his long-term growth. Different eras, different rosters, different burdens, but both players were asked to carry teams that weren't close to contending. The difference is that Wemby's situation gave him direction. Curry's made him figure it out alone. Stephen Curry's third season opened with the first real glimpse of the player he would eventually become. In Game 1, he put up 24 points with smooth shooting and more control of the offense than he'd ever had before. Game 2 was a full eruption. 38 points, deep threes, off-ball movement, and the kind of rhythm that forced defenses to panic. Game 3 followed with 35 more, another clinic in spacing and shot creation. And Game 4 gave him 27 points, steady efficiency, and the comfort of a player who finally had the ball in his hands consistently. These 4 games marked the beginning of true Steph Curry basketball. Movement, precision, quick trigger threes, and confidence from everywhere on the floor. But even in that breakout stretch, the ankle concern still lingered in the background. His scoring was brilliant. His availability was still a question. Wembanyama's third season didn't start with scoring eruptions. It started with dominance. Game 1. 40 points on 71% shooting, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, and total control of both ends of the floor. Game 2. 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 blocks. One of the most complete defensive performances to open a season in modern history. Game 3. 31 points, 14 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 3 steals, while shooting 50% from 3. In Game 4, 24 points on 87.5% shooting, 15 rebounds, and seamless efficiency. 2 of those games included 0 turnovers. All of them included game-changing defensive impact. And the stat profile didn't just look good, it looked impossible. Rim protection, scoring, rebounding, spacing, and efficiency. Every category spiked at once. Put those starts side by side, and the difference is obvious. Curry opened his third season with scoring explosions, big shots, elite efficiency, and the early signs of the greatest shooter ever. Wembanyama opened his third season with complete two-way destruction, scoring on elite efficiency, dominating the rim, erasing shots, dictating spacing, and impacting every possession without forcing anything. Curry's impact was built on volume and perimeter pressure. Wemby's impact spread across the entire floor. Suppressed both starts were elite, but only one reshaped the game on offense and defense at the same time.